China is a country whose history seems endless, and the deeper we dig, the more secrets are revealed. In addition to the famous pyramids hidden underground and the burial sites of people of the white race, there is another phenomenon that requires an explanation: the Yangshan megaliths. These three huge stone structures, whose creation is attributed to the Chinese Emperor Zhu Di of the 15th century, seem impossible for their time. The official version sounds like the emperor ordered them to be carved, but many researchers doubt this version, finding it too simplified. What if their age is much older? Who was really behind their creation? These questions continue to torment the minds of researchers, leaving us with a reason to think about the capabilities of ancient civilizations and the secrets that have yet to be revealed. The Yangshan megaliths are not just large stones, but colossal, clearly man-made structures, striking in their size and traces of processing. These giant stone blocks, located just 15 kilometers from the ancient capital of China, Nanjing, leave no doubt that they were created by intelligent beings. Looking at these megaliths, you can't help but wonder what level of technology and knowledge the civilization had that was capable of carving and moving such huge blocks. Many researchers agree that they most likely belong to the same ancient and highly developed civilization that left behind the giant pyramids in China, as well as the mysterious mummies of tall, fair-haired, and light-eyed Caucasians found in various parts of the country. The size of these megaliths and the precision of their processing clearly indicate that they were created not by primitive builders, but by craftsmen who possessed advanced stone processing techniques. And what is remarkable is that even official science, which usually tends to explain everything by natural processes, does not deny the man-made origin of the Yangshan megaliths, recognizing that these are not natural formations, but the result of the activities of ancient builders. To understand the full scale of the Yangshan megaliths, it is enough to look at their size. One of these giants reaches 17 meters in height, and its width varies from 12 to an impressive 29.5 meters. Imagine this stone block weighing about 16,250 tons. The second megalith is 51 meters long, 14.2 meters high, 4.5 meters wide, and weighs approximately 8,800 tons. And the third, oval-shaped, reaches 10 meters in height, has dimensions of 22 by 10.3 meters, and weighs about 6,118 tons. If these three megaliths could be stacked on top of each other, their total height would reach 78 meters. This is like a modern 28-story skyscraper, and their total weight would exceed 31,000 tons. Such giants amaze the imagination and make you think about the level of technology of ancient builders. Stone blocks of comparable size and weight are found in Baalbek, Lebanon, and at ancient megalithic sites in Peru, which only emphasizes the mystery of these structures. But that's not all. Take a closer look at these Yangshan megaliths, and you will see interesting details. At the base of each of the three monuments, there are carved rectangular niches, and two of them have through niches that go right through. And on the surface of the oval megalith, you can see 14 stone protrusions that look like nipples or bosses, which are found on many other megalithic structures around the world. The second megalith of the complex, when viewed from above, has an unusual elongated rectangular shape, like a thin stone strip with a side ratio of approximately 1 to 10. It is so expressive that it can be easily seen even from space. It is also interesting that this megalith is carved and oriented strictly along an azimuth of 40 degrees. And according to independent researchers, it is this azimuth that points to the ancient city of Teotihuacan, located on the other side of the Earth. Did the ancient builders deliberately orient the megalith to this place, or is it just a coincidence? The connections of the Yangshan megaliths are not limited to China. It turns out that the line Yangshan Plate, Teotihuacan, passes through Angkor, located in the golden section between them. The distance between the Chinese megaliths and Teotihuacan is 13,008 kilometers, and they divide half the circumference of the Earth between the pyramids of Teotihuacan and their antipode in a proportion of 7 to 13. It's like pieces of a giant puzzle. And as if that weren't enough, the largest monolith in Yangshan points its edge at Uluru in Australia. These connections and coincidences suggest a global network of ancient structures linked by some unknown force. A bird's-eye view of the Yangshan megaliths reveals new secrets. The quarries where these giant stones were mined are so large that they are easily visible even from space. However, what is even more impressive is that not only the megaliths themselves, but also the entire surrounding area, including the walls of nearby rocks, have traces of processing. All this does not look like an ordinary quarry, but like some kind of huge technological complex. After all, such careful processing and clearing of the territory requires enormous efforts and is clearly not consistent with ordinary stone mining. Why, in this case, was it necessary to level the rocks around if the goal was only to extract the stones? Such attention to detail suggests a more advanced goal than just mining building material. Maybe this is not just a quarry? Megaliths, smooth walls, everything seems to have been created according to a single plan, especially considering how precisely they are located. The purpose is unclear, but there is a version: an ancient navigation system. The largest megalith is a huge antenna that receives infrasound. Regardless of the purpose of this complex, be it navigation or something else, the fact remains: the creators of these structures belonged to an ancient, highly developed civilization whose knowledge of space and technology far surpassed ours. It seems that they were the very white gods spoken of in Chinese myths, whose true history was deliberately distorted by the Jesuits when rewriting the history of China. This is the same civilization that left us the giant pyramids as a legacy, the mystery of which has not yet been solved. Their achievements are not just stones, they are evidence of lost knowledge and the greatness of a civilization about which we know so little. Alternate history of China. According to an ancient Chinese legend, civilization in China began with the advent of a white god named Huangdi, who descended from heaven on a chariot. He, like a kind teacher, passed on to people all the necessary knowledge. He taught them to cultivate rice, build dams, make boats and chariots, dig wells, create musical instruments, sew clothes, heal with acupuncture, and much more. These legends say that the entire foundation of Chinese culture and technology was laid by some white gods who came from outside. Huangdi is not just a mythical character, he is a symbol of knowledge transmitted by an ancient, highly developed civilization. And perhaps it was he, or representatives of his people, who left behind the Yangshan megaliths as a reminder of their power. Legends say that Huangdi, the white god, gifted the Chinese not only with knowledge but also with writing, knotted and then hieroglyphic, as well as a calendar. The symbol of Huangdi was a bear, which unexpectedly connects him with the ancient Slavs, and the spirit, the lord of demons, is a red-haired Chinese man. However, as often happens, human gratitude is a short-lived thing. Over time, the Chinese forgot the kindness of their teachers, betrayed their gods, and went to war. Almost 8,000 years ago, the Slavic Aryans were forced to face the Children of the Dragon, China, Aremia, who, having copied the knowledge and technology of the white gods, gained strength and repaid them with black ingratitude. To protect themselves from the attacks of the warlike Chinese tribes, the Rusori of Eastern Tartary erected the Great Wall, which is said to have loopholes facing the south. This reminds us that even the highest achievements can be used for evil, and wars are born not only from the lack of technology, but also from the loss of humanity. The details of that ancient war remain unknown to us, but its significance was so great that after the victory won 7,526 years ago, our ancestors decided to start counting time anew, as if they wanted to forever record it in their collective memory. In memory of that victory, we are left with the symbol of a mounted warrior slaying a snake with a spear, which later became known as Saint George the Victorious. The losers of that war found themselves under the rule of the victors for many millennia, becoming one of the provinces of the empire. Over time, these relations transformed into vassal dependence, and after the fall of Great Tartary, these peoples became completely independent. But despite all the twists and turns of history, the worship of the white gods and the sons of heaven remained in their culture. However, as often happens, there were those who wanted to rewrite the past, changing the images and meanings in the people's memory. Chinese hieroglyphs were rewritten 3 times, and books written in old hieroglyphs were destroyed. The history of China, rewritten with new hieroglyphs, excluded the role of the white gods from the narrative, as it happened with us. But even these efforts could not completely erase the traces of the past. Legends, songs, and tales about the white gods and the sons of heaven remained in folklore. And in confirmation of this, in the temples of the 17th century we see preserved images of Chinese deities, captured, for example, by Athanasius Kircher. Many ancient images and sculptures found among the Chinese depict round-faced men with European-shaped eyes, with a lush beard and mustache. Have you seen many of these Chinese? Often, during excavations, painted figurines with blue or green eyes and a white face are found. In Chinese historical records, there are references to white people from the north, who arrived in the Celestial Empire and claimed that in the north they directly communicated with the gods. The emperors of ancient China were considered to be endowed with the power of the King of the Cosmos, residing at the heavenly North Pole, perhaps the very Hyperborea that legends speak of. And what's most surprising is that these are not just myths, because archaeological finds confirm the presence of white people in this region. The first burials of mummified bodies of Caucasians were discovered in 1977 in the Taklamakan Desert in Chinese Turkestan, where the lands of China, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Mongolia meet. One of the most famous discoveries was the Lulan Beauty, an ancient mummy discovered in 1980 near the ancient city of Lulan in the northeast of the Taklamakan Desert. This woman, 170 centimeters tall, who died about 4,800 years ago, amazes with her preservation. In addition to her, other burials have been found, including burials of entire families. These findings raise new questions about who inhabited these lands thousands of years ago and how these people are connected to legends of white gods.